I got a question. Why does everybody want Juan Soto? What is he worth $625 million for? What has he done? Shohei pitches and hits, and he's won MVPs and won Cy Youngs.
Well, I think in the World Series and this playoffs, he had like an OPS of over 1,000 or something like that, Juan Soto. So he was really good in the postseason. Granted, they didn't beat the Dodgers. So I think he's only, 26? Is he 25 or 26 years old? Yeah. So he's one of the top hitters in baseball.
I mean, that doesn't excite you?
Yeah, but
James, that doesn't excite
He does excite me. And I'm a diehard Red Sox fan, and God knows we need the talent. But you could get two players for that much money and solidify other things.
Well, I
granted,
think
he's one of the best players in baseball, but that's a lot of money for a guy who hasn't done anything.
Yeah, I think this is remind me, is this the argument that baseball Brett was making on the show a few weeks ago? Is that it's too much, it's all your eggs in one basket?
But it's just nonsense. And not that Brett's nonsensical. It's just they have plenty of money. I'd rather them invest in Juan Soto than the NBA team in Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, the Dodgers do it.
Right.
So, I mean, if the Dodgers
are still in on Juan Soto.
Right.
We talked about this earlier. They have $1 billion. They hit the $1 billion mark when it comes to deferred money, and they're in on Juan Soto.
And the other thing I was whispered to over Thanksgiving with the family friend who's loaded was that they print cash with all the non-baseball events at Fenway Park. None of that money is shared to the players, to other major league clubs. They use the park, and that is a cash cow. They will never sell Fenway for that very reason alone, that it is a destination for artists. It's a unique venue to see, whether it's Springsteen or who was the guy that Courtney's wearing a sweatshirt today? Post Malone. Any one of those guys.
What, do you think the Dodgers will have trouble selling that franchise with $1 billion deferred?
I mean, they'll sell it for more than they bought it. I mean, it goes up.
But it has to be, whoever's assuming that owes $1 billion up till 2045 or whatever.
Yeah,
couldn't you make the same argument for the Celtics?
Yes.
I mean, right? Maybe that's why it hasn't been sold. Is that
well,
there's
and that's
all that.
why they're talking. The whispering on that is that they're not. The offers are not anywhere near the $6 billion that they want for it. Yes.
Because I would think, like, even with the Dodgers, right? And even with the Celtics, if somebody bought that franchise and held on to it for 20, 25 years, I feel like if you pay $10 billion for it, in 20 years, how much you think the Dodgers would be worth? I feel like it would almost look at these teams and they're, forget about doubling. What did the Celtics were sold for initially? 200
and something million, 225 or whatever.
And they're worth now, let's call it $5 billion.
4.5
over a 20-year period. What's that percentage number?
It's a giant increase.
Right. So I mean, what other business has that type of increase?
Yeah, you're not going to lose money. It changes the scenario when they push all this money out. Mm-hmm. It just changes the financial scenario and whether whether you're going to make money or not in those years.
And Greg, I think you were somewhat onto something with baseball because right now, of all the major sports, it's in the most precarious position because
if they bring the golden bat in.
Oh, your lips to God's ears.
I love the golden bat.
I can just picture the 80-year-old already on hold saying they're ruining the game. But in general, I think a third of the 30 baseball teams are owned and operated by Major League Baseball when it comes to their local TV deal, because Bally and another national distributor of sports went under.
Yes.
So, teams like, it's really the haves and the have-nots. The Red Sox, Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Cubs, Braves are really on an island, and that's going to reach a sort of a breaking point because you can't have that.
But clearly the luxury tax cap system, or whatever they call, what do they call it?
Collective bargaining tax. Right, CBT? Is that what it is?
It has no effect whatsoever when it comes to a team like the Dodgers because they're in on Juan Soto. Like, that payroll is going to be
ridiculous,
astronomical.
Yeah,
competitive balance tax.
Yeah,
I think they were in on him, but then they realized
they're still in on him.
I don't know if they. I mean, I know those are the reports out there. They might be in, but I think it's more of like how people would say about the Red Sox, like they're feeling around, but they know they're not gonna be in on it when it comes to, all right, we need to now put a bid in.
Well, if you want to win and you're him and the offer is competitive, why wouldn't you take that offer?
Because they probably want him to sign there and get this money deferred.
I wonder if baseball will make some sort of a rule that bans future deals from being that way.
I would assume they would, because it
feels like a loophole.
It is.
And I guess if the players are okay with it, then maybe there won't be.
If you're
But
Blake Snell and you don't mind being paid, your final paycheck in 20 years, I mean, there's some risk there, I would think, when it comes, it's like the lottery. Do you take the, the payout or take it in, take the lump sum or take,
I guess maybe the risk might be minimal because he might be looking at it, or he has the ability to pass it on to his wife, or if he has any kids, like that way, where I don't know. I'm not sure if you can do that with the lottery. So maybe he might look at it and go, I got a giant piece of money coming. I've already made a bunch of money. And now when I'm done playing, I'm
set up forever.
I never have to worry about it.
Yep.
This is Paul from East Boston, from Eastie. And apparently Paul was your Little League coach, Wiggy?
For the White Sox?
Well, I didn't coach him actually, literally his team, but I coached 2 All-Star teams that he was on. Saw Jermaine grow. I grew up right around the corner from where I grew up, and it's such a pleasure to see Jermaine give back the way that he does to his community. And I think any kids that are in need.
I don't know if you've seen him recently. He's still growing outward. But yes.
And proud of it.
Yeah,
and proud of it.
I am.
Wiggy catcher?
Well,
catcher. I was
same.
I either hit home runs or struck out.
No.
No, Jermaine was quite an athlete as a kid growing up, and we've talked recently. He's going to help us out with a fundraiser that we're doing, and
it was
he does
honestly
so much for the Boys Club.
Yep.
It was always the fat kid who was a catcher. That's the way it always goes in Little League.
Be honest, Paul.
Can't confirm.
Paul, how long were Wiggy's mound visits?
Well, I wasn't. I wasn't doing it because I wasn't his coach on his team. But with All-Star games, he was pretty impressive for us. We never got to the finish. Keith Kachuk. Now, not to diminish Jermaine, we just didn't have that great a team completely. But I had Keith Kachuk on a team that we almost won the state championship with.
Another East Boston
I've
kid.
had a couple of really. Yeah.
Another East Boston.
So, I just want to I want to say that, when guys like Jermaine come back and give back, and I didn't call for that, but it's my first time calling the show. I had him comment about the Celtics, but, it's really heartwarming to know that we cultivated kids like that from East Boston, and he's always given back, and we're very grateful for that. But I called to talk about the Celtics. I was blown away the other night with these bench guys. It's what you build. It's what you work to build to get the confidence of these guys on the bench to they're all in. And to see them come out with these 4 guys from the bench playing so well and pound the Hawks the way they did, like that, to me, that was like the best part of the last couple of years for the Celtics.
Yeah.
It was really heartwarming to see that.
We were talking about it yesterday. Peyton Pritchard, legit 6th man when it comes to the NBA.
Oh yeah,
he's got more threes than Steph Curry does, I think.
He's a walking bucket.
Fire.
I love the way his attitude is, because he's trying to prove to everybody
Trash talks, too.
that I deserve to be
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean? I deserve to be playing in the NBA.